I remember 3 or 4 years ago just driving down the A52 and a gentleman decided to knock his window. Of course I wind my window down and he called me the N-word for no apparent reason. I always remember playing at a particular ground and the ball went out for throwing, and I went to retrieve the ball and the gentleman had his son, or it might have been his nephew, I presume it's his son, stood standing beside him, and as I reached out for the ball he shouted, "Come and get it, you wog." And to which you have a moment where you think, do I jump in there and roll around with him, or actually do you do the right thing? And I just stepped away and he flung the ball back. I went and reported it, but back then the way that you were told to deal with things like that was go out there in the second half and show them what you're made of. Well, it's not always that easy. You know, sometimes it can have a real detrimental effect on your performance, your state of mind. Nowadays it's obviously taken a lot more seriously. Kick It Out now have online straight away if anybody hears any abuse from the stadium. You've got an app which makes it a lot more of a secure place for you to report incidents into. I know that we had an incident last year with a group of Asian fans, Punjabi Rams they're called, who felt comfortable to report an incident on the app, which then led to somebody being penalised for racism. So it's a lot more safer place, it's a lot more better place, and the reporting mechanisms are so much better that hopefully it will encourage people, whether you're on the field of play or in the stands, to report issues, because what we want is an environment that is inclusive for all. I think it's really enabled me to be, and this might sound really weird, but it's enabled me to be the man I am, because I've always been having to be subtly aware of elements of racism. It allowed me to really develop a lot of people skills and to be able to watch people's signs and to see if people, you know, will take to you or not, and just be aware of a crowd of people that might not like or might not be, you know, very comfortable with somebody who looks like me. So it's really shaped my life. I wouldn't have said it's for the better. It's so sad because kids are unaware. Kids just run around, and for some reason, you know, my son will come in, he's came over several times and said, why is this person called me this name? Why am I the one that's been laughed at because of the colour of the skin? And you have to have those conversations, and straight away you find yourself breaking down barriers to a child that's 5-6 years old, and you're already trying to build them up for what potentially might happen in the next 10 years. And that's so unfair to do, but you have to do it, because, you know, when my son's 15-16, he needs to be culturally aware of what might be happening out there. Hopefully it's not the case, but as a father, as a parent, you have to try your best way to negate your children through, you know, racism, which is unfortunately still out there today. So there was an incident. I did a show called The Big Question in 2012, and I'm a very proud Christian and still am. And I was very early in my walk in my Christian life then, and quoted something which was Old Testament. When I quoted it, I didn't get a chance to really build upon what I'd said, and the microphone went, and of course then I was labelled homophobic. I've never been homophobic in my life. I met with Peter Tatchell and had discussions with Peter, did a lot of work with Kick It Out, FA and the PFA, and gone into grounds and spoke about inclusion for all and homophobia being the subject that I really wanted to tackle. What I would say is, of course, I'm a very, very proud Christian, and I have no problems with anybody from any background at all. I don't dislike, I don't hate. I feel free for anybody to live their life how they choose to live it. It was a difficult time for me, for my family, for my faith as well, because I questioned my faith. There was a lot of real problems at the time, but, you know, I know my faith is strong, and I know that, you know, the greatest commandment of all is to love everybody. That's the biggest commandment of all, is to make sure you love people. And I have a sincere and genuine love for people of all walks of life, and that's why I'll sit here on the back of what happened in 20s, because I've got nothing to hide. I'd say report it on all levels. There's plenty of mechanisms now where you can report it and feel safe about reporting it. Nobody should be vilified for the sexuality, the gender, the race, the religion. Nobody should be. So I think there's a real onus now to come forward and stand out and say, I'm not going to put up with this now. If I feel that my human rights have been, vilified, then there should be a safe place where I can go and talk about it, and somebody will hear and give me best advice how to move forward.